And I would point out that one of the things that I see as a difference with what's happening now, and lots of times people like to talk about the market conditions, and clearly the market conditions are important. But one of the things that's interesting is that there was a reference to the horseless carriage versus the horse-drawn vehicles, but we didn't outlaw horses at the same time as the horseless carriage was being developed, and that's the big difference. And while I am getting older every day and thankful for that, I can remember in my youth a gentleman who in my hometown still had his team of horses to plow fields, and people felt he did a great job, and he made a living doing that for a number of years, well into the 1970s, and horses were not made illegal by the advent of the automobile. Mr. Hilton, did I hear you say that there, and I may have misunderstood, so please get me straight, that in regard to the Kemper coal-fired power plant with what they're doing, that there would be a 20% rate increase?
That's what I've read, yes.
You know, this is part of what causes me great concern, and Dr. Christie, you touched on this earlier as well, is that we have all of these requirements, and it's not just the one that we're debating today, but we have numerous requirements coming in, and every time we turn around, there's a rate increase. We're already experiencing that in my district, which is a coal-producing district in Southwest Virginia. But the folks, many counties away from where the coal is actually dug are watching their electric rates go up, and it's making it hard on the working poor and on the poor folks because they can't afford a 10% increase, or in this case, a 20% increase. And you mentioned that they were having similar problems in your community in Alabama. Is that true, or that you've noticed this?
I would just say this, that we have many, many poor people in my state, and any increase in cost of living for them is really hardship for them.
And that's true in my district as well, and I think that's probably true in a lot of the districts across the United States, that what you have is when the price goes up, then it makes it hard. And what's interesting is that everybody likes to talk about the statement by the President when he said that they would bankrupt the facilities if they were using coal or whatever. But they also mentioned at that time in 2008, he mentioned as well, because I'm capping greenhouse gases, coal power plants, natural gas, you name it, whatever the plants were, whatever the industry was, they would have to retrofit their operations. That will cost money. They will pass that money on to consumers. So I just find it rather interesting that the consumer side of this equation is often left out. And Dr. Christie, you indicated that if the United States took all these actions and we reduced and continued to reduce our carbon footprint, that it would be relatively, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, I don't remember, something along the lines of negligible. Is that correct?
Yes.
In the world's output. But wouldn't you agree with me that it's not negligible to the families that are having to pay those higher increased prices for electricity to light and heat their homes or to run factories?
Yes, I think anyone who sees their utility bill rise would feel the effect, and it wouldn't be good for them.
And of course, we've got not just this regulation, but lots of other regulations that are putting pressure on those prices. And then, of course, you have all these folks that are out of work, because it's not just the 1,200 folks that are going to be laid off by Alpha Natural Resources, which, by the way, is headquartered in my district. But it's also all the other coal mines that have laid off people, sometimes 20 at a time, 30 at a time, that people aren't necessarily noticing. And then the people who are laid off from suppliers, Joy Manufacturing, other suppliers to the coal mines, the railroads that may not have had the effect yet but will have the effect, et cetera. And so you're going to have more and more people who are unemployed, because we are insisting upon, for a negligible result, we are insisting upon taking our economy and throwing it in the trash can for a negligible result on carbon footprint in the world, and we're sending our jobs overseas to other countries, and we're watching as they gain the wealth. And when there comes a time when there is a technology that may make things better, we won't have the money to buy that technology because we will have sent all of our wealth overseas. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. Chairman